All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for dropping by. If you're looking for cool tools to generate cats in top hats dancing, you're in the wrong place because we're just going to talk about three things. Three things: business, business, and business within AI. So, this is the place where you actually get some good use cases on how to use modern technology and AI for your business. And today, it's all about AI hyper-personalization. And I'm going to go into detail more about what that is, but essentially is a way to have this super salesperson in your organization to close deals faster and minimize loss. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the challenges of implementing that, the use cases in the future, and we're going to talk about my three favorite topics or three favorite things with using AI personalization. So let's get started. Now, AI and hyper personalization needs some explanation for most people. Some people use it for maybe 10 years. But when it's got really interesting is using the new technologies, this generation 2 type of technologies we see now with generative AI and new ways of how to use technologies like deep learning. And we're not going to get super technical, a little bit technical because I'm a geek and I really love talking about these kind of things. But we need to understand that there's a moment in time now where it changes from being very helpful to magical. And we're going to talk about why it's today more on the magical side and why it's for you in a business a necessity to get into this if you're a retailer, if you haven't already. Most chance is that you have already been into this because you're using some sort of a tool for your e-commerce platform or something like that that already had this built in. But hyper personalization is actually getting it or moving it a step further. It's making sure that you're utilizing all the data in your organization, not just in your e-commerce, but when you transcend the entire customer journey from all the way over here when it starts with a lead in the social platform all the way into the homes of the people actually buying stuff from you, way back into your supply chain system, and maybe even through the retention of customers contacting you for customer service. So how do we deal with all that vast data and utilizing that for hyper personalization? As I said, this is nothing new. A lot of people have done this in ages, but there are some few ingredients in these large language models and that it has enabled things that hasn't been possible in the past. And the use cases out there are enormous. You can do so many things, but I picked three I want to deep dive a little bit into before we head into the challenges of actually making those possible in your organization. And then we're going to sneak peek into the future and see, are there any truly magical things we can see in the next maybe 2 or 3 years down the line? Right. So AI personalization, as I mentioned, is all about closing that deal faster together with your customer, making the customer feel like this website or this interaction with you as a retailer is tailor-made just for you and no one else. Now, my top three starts with product recommendation. It's the way where we tailor the content around the packaging of the product that you're looking for or the service that you want to buy in a way where it feels special to the point where it's actually tailored just for me. And in the past, it's been very easy to do this in terms of looking at historical data, trying to set a persona for you. You're this type of persona, and that makes you wanting this more than something else. But that's a bit, rigid. It's not magical. It's more like finding a pattern where you're buying in a way which looks similar to how other people buying it. What's truly new and magical is how we communicate, how we make sure that the product recommendation is in a context which is only and is unique for you. And the way we're going to see people going to do this in difference to how it's been done in the past is that a product recommendation can change based on who you are, your age, your gender, your cultural background, your hobbies, whatever. And that requires a specific lingo, the way you talk, because I wouldn't sell a golf club to somebody who's a beginner in the same way I would do it to somebody who's a professional. Obviously not. The lingo needs to change. The product description, what I'm looking for is different. So you cannot have a static product recommendation. You would see a product recommendation specifically for you. And it doesn't stop there. It goes further. It changed the lingo. The words that you normally use on social websites, because you could be a Gen Z or a millennium, or like me, an old geezer, who looks for specific words that makes me comfortable. And it's down to the actual product name. So for me, if I'm a beginner in golf or whatever, I would look for a specific product name that would be helpful. Whereas a professional golfer might want a more advanced name for it. So we can see differences in how we present information about the product, not only about the descriptions and the lingo, even down to the image. So if somebody is holding a golf club, it's not going to be this Tiger Woods kind of person. If I'm a beginner, I will see an image of somebody holding a golf club who's a beginner, like me. Maybe a video of somebody missing or something like that. So particular words, the context, but it doesn't stop there. I might be in a bad mood. I might be in a hurry. If I'm in a hurry, product descriptions need to be short, concise. They need to be exact to the point where I'm looking for. If there's a buying pattern where I'm mostly buying out of quality, that's the wording I would use. So all these recommendations, all these text surrounding packaging the product will change based on gender, age, background, mood, previous purchases, everything altogether. So that's my top one. I think this is really awesome, and we might not even know how this is happening in the background. So we're allowing AI systems to get into this and start changing this without us knowing. That is the magic, right? So businesses will use this tool and they will make a lot of money, but they don't really know why. that's kind of freakish. The next one on my list, number 2, is the assistance, because even though I might be a really cool buyer, I know what to buy, and I get all these product descriptions and whatnot that's spot on to my cultural background and uses my lingo, I still need to interact with somebody. I need help. I have questions, right? A static web page wouldn't do that to me. I need to be in a position where I talk to people. So I would need some sort of a virtual shopping companion. And we've seen this. There's a lot of examples of this where you can use tools, various tools. But what I'm talking about is in controls of the retailer, something that goes out and grabs your attention, offers help. in a way where it's specialized for you, not a generic chatbot. It's somebody who is can remember your preferences, somebody you can talk to before you get onto the website. You say what you're looking for. You say you might be in a hurry. Come on, I'm in a hurry. I need to buy a present for my daughter, and it needs to happen now, and I need to get it back within 2 days. All these preferences is designing this shopping experience, and it streamlines the entire communication process. So even though it's handed away from an AI assistant at some point to a human assistant, these preferences will be there in this virtual shopping journey, if we call it like that. And I think a lot of times that's what we're looking for when we go to a physical store or we pick up the phone. We need that interaction. We need to be felt like we're understood, like somebody's understanding us. And I think that's the key driver here for this one. It's not that it's efficient for the organization. That's fine. We can do that with automation and whatnot. What's truly is remarkable with AI assistants is if we can make somebody who's buying feeling understood. Like, if I want to buy a pair of hiking boots, the one I really would like to talk to is somebody who's actually used these boots, climbing a top. But how hard would that be? Well, if I can get into a virtual call or a dialogue with an AI assistant that actually has the background, being able to discuss how it felt, because that's part of its data, it will give me a sense and an emotion that I'm being understood. Somebody's talking about the things I'm looking for. So that's my top two. Obviously, these shopping companions, if they're AI, with today's technology, you wouldn't even know whether I'm human or not. And if you're looking at this from a video podcast, even though if you're listening to me, it's impossible today with this new technology to know whether I'm real or not. So a good question is, how much real do we want? And that will be a preference as well, I think. I think some people will, try to make sure we're talking to humans. And some people will just go, no, an AI assistant is more efficient for me, given the context. I'm in a hurry. I need to be precise. I don't want to, meet with an assistant who has a bad day. These AI assistants normally don't have bad days. So that's pretty cool. But it also gives a new dimension where the more of these tasks that can be done by AI assistants for the people who wants AI assistants, the more traditional humans can meet humans. So if you're a human and you want to meet and speak to a human and you demand that, all of a sudden you will have access to those humans because more humans will be available, because we are, doing it partially with AI systems. Okay, let's move on. So number 3 on my list is also not super unusual today, but it's with a twist. So it's the try before you buy concept. So you have this virtual reality or augmented reality. You've seen them, the glasses. The Meta is releasing glasses. Mark is thinking that out from Meta and Facebook, that everyone in the world will soon have glasses on, and the entire augmented reality and the AI experience layer on top of that will go through these glasses. And we see it with Ray-Bans already. They're trying to do some form factor using Ray-Bans. But the idea with the augmented realities is more in control of the retailers. So we're saying that the retailer now will have a new channel, which is the augmented reality, virtual reality channel. So let's say your interest and preference says that you're interested in golf. I don't know why I came back to golf. Obvious giveaway that I'm a golfer, but it could be anything like diving, or you're looking for restaurants, and you like sushi, like I do, and you have the glasses on, and you allow this feed of sushi places come in, not only from a visual perspective, but also from an audio perspective, and it will help you define what kind of interest you might have in terms of what you want to, which restaurants you want to go to, what types of products you want to buy. Again, that's all been done. But what hasn't been done is that this super assistant, this AI shopping assistant, is designed only for you. So it's like, let's say you have your AI assistant, which is your personal shopper, and this one knows all the different retailers. So it's something owned by you, but you allow the retailers to get access to this AI assistant that's a commodity for you, and it's private for you, it's personal for you. And you link all the information that exists in the various at the various retailers or restaurants or whatever your interested is, and they have a dialogue about the possibilities, allowing you to focus on different things. So you give this assistant an agentic or a mission. You say, go out and find the best restaurant in this area, and you will get ideas on your glasses or on your phone where to go and how to get there. Not because it's something that just comes up in a Bing or Google search, but it's designed out from your previous preference history. At your home, I would see this even more powerful, where you can try things on, or you can test furniture in your apartment. Again, nothing new here. That's been done even way back in the boo.com crash, where there was attempts to get virtual clothing and testing virtual clothes. But today, I think the technology's catched up, and we really do have the technology necessary to do this. And therefore, I think this is one of the top three to virtual try and use augmented reality to see furnitures at home, and the cameras for these devices. They will film your home. They will figure out what type of things you like, so it actually fits your home, not something that just haphazardly comes from a product list, but there is an assistant in between this augmented reality or this virtual reality and the retailer who works for you. Find the best price, find the something that match my interest. I'm risk adverse. Find something that has an insurance policy attached to it. It could be anything. So you don't need to go through that hassle every time. Okay, so now we talked a lot about the art of possible, but if you want to get started, what do you need to think about if you're a business? And I think there are a few things that come top of mind. Obviously, this is all depending on the organization, the maturity of your organization, where you are in your digital transformation journey. Are you at a place where you're very non-technical oriented, and you're worried that IT is only a cost center in your organization? Maybe then you have a lot of convincing to do before you can get into this place. But I'm unsure if you're going to exist as a retailer for much longer. All jokes aside, what you need to do is pretty clear in my opinion. And the first thing you really need to think about is your data. So you have all this data about your customers. How can I utilize this data? How can I give access to the AI tools to do hyper personalization? Well, you need to have a modern cloud data platform that supports access in real time to this type of data. So it doesn't matter if you have a really cool e-commerce website, if you don't allow the AI tools to access that in real time, because it's going to be too slow. If you have slow reporting insight systems where you can see this data a day after, that's a bit too late. You need to have real-time access. And I think this data platform is something that helps a lot of technology, digital transformations, but it's going to be paramount when we're moving forward in an AI-driven or an AI-first organization, where I really think we're heading. Now, obviously, there's other challenges, especially if you're in EU. You have the GDPR and data privacy laws, and obviously we have similar laws in other areas of the world, but it's particular cumbersome to manage this through the GDPR setup. So that's my first thing. Before you try to make this happen, make sure you have a foundation in place, a really strong data structure and a data platform. Secondly, is integration with existing systems. So let's say you have this data platform. It's just like a central place. You have a cloud lake, a database. Most companies have that already. Then you need to start integrating all these systems of sources. So there's a lot of tools out there, and maybe you're in a platform already where you have a lot of cool features and e-commerce platforms that already have this. But it's not enough with parts of the business. You need to integrate the entire journey. So we're talking about from marketing automation, where you have a lead coming off your web page because somebody clicked something, or social media was triggered, to your marketing automation because you said, I'm looking for a golf club. That should trigger, a lead, all the way up till the buying point in time, to customer service and retention, reselling and loyalty programs. All this data needs to be fed into a customer data platform where, regardless of where you're at, your unique identity of the customer is following this entire journey, and it's attached to a persona, like a segmentation or persona, which makes sense in through this entire journey. And that's, I think, is a it's so easy to say. For me to say it now in this podcast is so simple, but to do it's real hard. But here's the kicker. So you don't need to do all this at once. When you're setting up your implementation product, try to measure ahead. Try to find out, what are my target key values I'm looking for? What are the key KPIs here? Where I'm heading. Don't try to solve all the pains in your organization. Try to focus a few of them. Have a broader roadmap ahead for implementing AI personalization, and make sure you're building in that direction, but you don't need to solve everything at once. Try to build this organically. Now, with both the things I said, there's a natural third sort of challenge trying to make this happen, and that is the financial investment. Even though I just mentioned organic growth, it will require you to invest. You might not have the knowledge in your organization of these people, so there's a few ways you can go. Obviously, you can find a good digital transformation company to help you with that. You can find a strong vendor that has a powerful roadmap. We don't see that to cover all the retail channels and to cover all requirements for hyper personalization. It's nearly impossible to get like one vendor to do all of this. And it's not my advice to do that either. you need to think modular, because we have a future now where there's so many interesting technologies that are popping up all the time. So the more modular you build this infrastructure, which supports hyper-personalization, the better, because then you can choose best of breed. One day you pick this one and this one and this one, and so you can go with the flow and change. You don't want to get into a project where it takes you 2 hours to deliver. You want to have an agile approach where you can get value in just in a few months. That's really, really, really important. So define your digital transformation goals. I think that's key. Get a good enterprise architect in, figure out how to do this, not only as a single-minded hyper-personalization project, but this is a data shaping and cloud data project as well, thinking about cloud data platform or customer data platform. Start small, but think big, as I mentioned. Build modularity, because that will make you flexible. So that, I think that's the top 4 things. Digital transformation journey, start small, think big, build modularity, and stay flexible. Now, looking into the future, what can we expect coming? Because even though you invest today, you need to start thinking about what's really coming around the corner, because there's so many cool things that will come. So I think the top things coming now that a lot of companies start playing around with, I mean, the huge companies like Amazon and whatnot, they're obviously doing a lot of these things already because they have the ability to try out a lot of new cool things. I think personalized marketing campaigns at scale is it's a true thing, because the name of the game is leads. The more potential buyers you can get into your channels, the more you will sell. And how do we do that? Marketing. I mean, a lot of people say that Google is a technology company. They're not. They're an advertisement company, right? They make most of their money from advertisements. So the name of the game is marketing, promotion, getting out there, making people understand that you have a product that you want to sell and why you should buy that. And I think marketing campaigns that automatically get set up and fired away by AI technologies is really what's going to come. We might not even know inside the retailers why a certain campaign was fired or executed, is what I mean. But we would just see these leads starting to generate in the very same way we have automatic or robotic procurements in stock trade markets today. There's an algorithm behind the scene that will do all the bidding and make sure that we're designing the best marketing campaign possible. But we don't really know. We won't have the insight to that black box. It's a neural network. It's a deep learning. It's technology that we cannot really grab if you're just a retailer or the CIO at this retailer company. But it will be helpful. People will use it. And there's risks with that as well, obviously. The next one is dynamic real-time pricing. Imagine yourself if you're at the car dealer and you start haggling. I want to buy it, but I don't really have the money. A very cool salesperson at this car dealer will spot you immediately and say, yeah, that guy or this girl, she only has this amount of budget, so I'm going to push them to that product and I would go down 10%, and that's my deal. That's what we will see. So you will go on to web pages and the price will actually change depending on situation, and even down to whether you're in a hurry or what you're looking for. So we'll see a lot of more real-time pricing strategies changing, where the ability is or the thought is that I'd rather make $1 than no dollar. So this AI salespersons will try to close the deal within limits, of course, but yeah, they might have the ability to give you a discount if they think that. They might even go the other way around, higher price, because you're looking for something, and when you buy it, you want to feel that you're buying quality, and you don't want to buy it too cheap because then you're not buying it. So it could be both ways. It's not just lowering the prices. Right. And then I think we talked about journey optimization, where the best journey, I'm in a hurry. I think that's going to be important. So I get thrown through this customer sales process journey, which is enabled and designed for me in a hurry. If I'm not in a hurry, if I need to do more research, it should recognize that as well. So depending on my attitude, it designs the journey. All right, I'm gonna round up, but there are two more things I would like to say about the future, which I think is really cool. Obviously, there's no limit to the possibilities here, but a really cool feature is the predictive inventory management. I think Amazon has played around with this a lot already, and it's essentially what it is that it's trying to figure out what the probability of you buying something. So if you're about to buy, but you haven't bought it yet, we can already start the process of manufacturing what you're supposed to be buying. Maybe you're going to buy it in one day. The AI or the machine learning behind the scenes will figure that out, and they will start sending the package to your postal address before you hit order or buy. I think that's part of the future, and I think that's what some businesses already do, but we don't see this built in so much in systems today as a standard feature. So a lot of business, they need to spend a lot of money trying to figure this out, and I think this will be more and more standard in the coming future. Another thing that's going to be part of the future, which I think we haven't seen as much as we thought, and that's Internet of Things. So AI will be integrated in everything. So we won't need internet. So you will have AI in your phone, in your dishwasher, in your washing machine, in your coffee machine, and you can have a dialogue with them about what coffee should I buy now, and that AI system, if you allow it, can have access to the home system, and it can be integrated to retailers. So all these regular procurements that washing powder or milk or whatever you buy on a normal basis, that will just be taken care of your freezer or fridge or washing machine. You don't need to bother about all those regular purchases. And then in the near future, the robotics will come to take care of the rest. So essentially, wondering what we're going to do with our days. Probably we need to figure out some new hobbies when we're not doing all these chores around the house anymore. I need to mention one last thing. I know this is getting long, but one last thing is the voice activated shopping. I think that's going to be powerful. With our voices are so unique. So I can speak like 2 sentences, and with machine learning techniques, I can identify people just by using my voice. So I think this voice will be a signature similar as a security level of when you're accessing a bank, but in this preference, it will just allow you to be recognized and what preferences you have. So I start speaking to an AI assistant, and they will immediately know who I am and what my preferences are. So I don't really need to explain what I'm looking for. And this has been a problem with all the various channels, right? So with previous channels and gathering information about the customers, we really need the clicks, and we need to know who you are, and can you fill out this form? We need to move away from that and get access to understanding what type of individual are we selling to in our retail channel without all these technology around. So we need to make it simpler. And just by using voice to recognize who you are could be one way. Obviously, data and privacy comes in here. Who can save and who can do not with this type of technologies. Today, we're approving cookies on internet and whatnot. So I think this will be more and more okay, and we will come into our comfort zone to allow this, because we will see the benefits of allowing it, because it's helpful. It's like face recognition on your iPhone. A lot of people were very skeptic in the beginning and thinking, I don't want that. But then they realize, oh, I can face recognize myself doing something without touching the screen, and it saves the burden of picking up my hands, because I could be blocked to doing something else. In the same way, voice generated or voice starting shopping will be entering the scene. Okay, so let's try to sum up today. It's been a long chat, but this is such a cool topic. Maybe we need to break it down in multiple podcasts and deep dive in some of these areas. Just data platform on its own is probably 10 podcasts alone. But today, what we've talked about is how this new technology, generative AI technology, has opened up for a new version of hyper-personalization, making it not about choosing the right product for you, but actually more designing the context around the product, so it actually knows how to communicate with you in a way where you feel comfortable. It's all about you feeling comfortable, and that will make you buy more, essentially, or choose a specific product more. We know that there's some challenges, not for all small companies. This is more large retail enterprises today. Obviously, there are tools out there that does this to a point, but hyper-personalization really comes in play when you have all channels covered, and that will require some digital transformation projects in your company to make sure you have a strong foundation, a cloud platform. Now, on an ending note, should we do hyper-personalization today? I think it's a dead given. I don't think the retailers have an option to say no. I think those who do not go down this track of hyper personalization will be left out. I'm sure it's impossible to see otherwise, unless you're driving in a monopoly marketplace where you don't have any competition, essentially. But that's not the future I see. Everything will have competition. Now it's so easy to get things up and running, and retail supply chains can virtually be spun up in the matter of days and weeks. So thank you for listening today about AI hyper-personalization. It's been a pleasure. I love talking about these topics, so don't be a stranger to reach out.